right. Hi, so nice to
Hi,
meet you.
nice to meet you too.
Whoa, 10 minutes is a long time, so let's just have ourselves a little podcast here. All right.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds fun.
All right. So, first of all, congratulations on the Prowler heading to the LA Shorts International Film Festival. I know that it's one of the most important film festivals there are. So, talk to me a little bit about that. Like, what does it take to get a short in that festival? Because I know it must be hard.
Yeah, I mean, I I really didn't do anything special in terms of the submission process. I really just wanted a screening here in LA. That was like my goal because our whole cast and crew's here, and I just wanted to see it on the big screen. And I have two young kids, so it's not like I could just fly anywhere to go see it, in one of the festivals across the states. But I was I was really just hopeful to get one here in LA, and I just kind of submitted to it on Film Freeway, and it was the last deadline. It was like a couple days before they closed, so I did not expect it at all. I was like, I'm probably not going to get in because it's the last deadline. So I kind of just turned my back on it and just hoped for one of the other ones. But then I got an email from them, and I was just like, are they for real? Like I had to like double check multiple times, like through various channels. I was like, are you sure? Like for real? and yeah, sure enough, it was legit. And it was just like, man, it was so cool to get in there because I've never screened there before.
And if I'm not mistaken, this is one of the festivals that is classified for you to classify for the Oscars
Yeah,
shorts, right?
it's Academy qualifying, BAFTA, Goya, and Canadian Screen
So if
qualifying.
you don't get in this festival, you basically don't have a chance at the Oscars or the BAFTAs or anything else.
I think there's other ones that you can because you have to win an award to be qualified for the Oscars. Because then if you win an
Oh.
award, then you can submit to go to the Oscars. I think that's how it works.
Okay, that's interesting. So I want to because researching you, I basically researched the whole internet and I couldn't find what I was hoping to find. And it's a little
Okay.
bit about your background because
Okay.
they told me, oh, he was raised a little bit in Ceiba, Puerto Rico,
Yeah.
and you're gonna want this interview, and I absolutely want this interview. Yeah, so talk to me a little bit about your background because I know that I'm a firm believer that your background like kind of bleeds into the work we make, any type
Absolutely.
of work,
hmm
especially artistic. So talk to me a little bit about that.
So I lived in Puerto Rico when I was like three, like for for like a few years. I lived there. My dad was in the military, so I lived on the base there, and I have a lot of family there too. And then I lived there again when I was 15. But it's funny because like I just had this. Are you Puerto Rican?
Yep, I'm right here in the heat,
Oh,
quite
okay, cool.
literally.
Oh, okay, cool, cool, cool. So a lot of my uncles and they just my grandpas and stuff like that. They would try to scare you. And they would tell me these stories about how they saw things with like someone was possessed and you hear about the chupacabra and stuff like that. And it just kind of, as a youngster, you're kind of like you're like sparking your imagination, but also you're scared to death. Like you're gonna get caught by this thing. Um, so there was just stuff like that. And then plus my mom, I love my mom. I love her.
Uh-huh.
But when I was
But
six, when I was 6 years old, she allowed me to go to the theater to see Jason Goes to Hell. And I'm not sure if you've seen that movie, but it's intense. Like someone's heart gets ripped out of their chest. So I proceeded to watch the movie from between the seats on the floor, like one of these. And I still, it was such a visceral experience that I still remember that day, like it was, you know like it just happened. And so those kind of like, and also Halloween was, Scream, all these movies were just on in the background, just as a kid. The TV was everything to me. So all of that was just made this giant soup in my brain of influences.
It's funny because I don't, well, I can imagine that's not only here in Puerto Rico. I mean, the whole Latin America thing where we're very superstitious and
Yep.
there's all these stories. It's funny that you mentioned the movies because I don't know if it's something about our generation that our parents just didn't care about, ratings,
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
or if it's just
It
like
was
a
like
Latin
a
America thing.
suggestion.
It's a suggestion, or if it's a Latin America thing where, you know what, the stories I tell my kids are way worse than what they're going to see at the movies. So
Yeah,
go
yeah,
ahead,
yeah.
just
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
It's all right. Don't worry about it.
So I've seen a couple of your shorts, and of
Oh
course,
wow.
if not all of them, they're all horror based. They're all in the horror genre. But something that really stood out to me was that a couple of them don't have dialogue until like the mid mark
Yeah.
until halfway through.
Hmm.
So that really stood out to me because I don't know if it's on purpose, if you purposely
Hmm.
like don't write dialogue for that amount of time, if it's easier to portray what you're trying to
Hmm.
say. Talk to me a little bit about that.
It's I really don't like
People
characters.
talking.
I know in life I'm like, please, just less, less, less. I'm kidding. But it's more. I don't really like characters speaking unless they have to.
Mm.
It's an immersion thing. I feel like when you have less dialogue, you can immerse the audience better. And for me, that works well in horror because you're just, you especially with like an opening scene or like the first few few minutes, you just want to just immerse them into the story versus just having it. Because for me, when I'm watching a movie sometimes and there's a lot of talking, especially right from the jump, I'm like, I feel like it's homework almost. Like I feel like I have to start writing stuff down, who's what characters who and all that stuff. And I really tried initially to make the Prowler a silent film. But
Really?
then, yeah, I really did. I tried my hardest. Like the first like it's like a 5.5 page script, and like the first like 4.5 pages, there was nothing, and it really wasn't until that moment, until that moment where he has to speak. We have to get a
Mm-hmm.
clue into this guy's psychology. He's not mentally well, and I think it was important to really withhold that to keep you guessing, like what's going on here? Who is this guy? Like where are we? Is this real? Like, because I really wanted it to play like a nightmare, you know?
I think that wouldn't it be harder when you go into directing it though? Because if there is no dialogue, then you have to be very specific with your
Hmm.
actor. Like, I need you to do this movement or
Yeah.
this or
Hmm.
this with your face because I need the audience to understand it. So what does it look like when you're directing your actor?
It just requires a lot of trust and a lot of conversation with the actor because in this case specifically, knowing who Aaron plays, a lot of his instincts and even mine on the page, when you're writing it, it's a lot of your instincts, you have to go against them because then it could give up the twist too early. And a lot of times
Hmm.
with Aaron, he wanted to lean into who he was playing, and I was like, "Yo, like not yet, not yet, not yet." And he's like, "You sure?" And I was like, "Just trust me, like not yet, not yet, like not, we're not there yet." And he luckily he was game because I could see from an actor's point of view them being like, "I don't know if this is gonna work. Like I don't know if this is gonna." And to go back to the first part of your question, it's actually easier to direct silence than it is to direct a full-on dialogue scene, because then you got to get in for coverages, and you want to make sure you're capturing every part of the scene, so that way the audience could really feel it. Because if you shoot a dialogue scene just with two angles,
Hmm.
two compositions, then it's just, you're cutting back and forth, and it can kind of feel stale after that.
Yeah, I understand. And uh, uh, I'm going into my last question, but something I'm really curious about is that shorts don't usually get the same amount of apoyo of what's the word? Help that feature films get by
Yeah,
studios.
the breath.
Exactly. So
You mean, sorry.
no, no, no. Talk to me a little bit about the struggle, the financial struggles to
Oh, the
making your
financial stuff.
shorts.
Okay. Yeah, this one was that was one of the easier things about this one is I there was like moments where I wanted to go a little bit bigger and I
Mm-hmm.
just kept ignoring that instinct because I was like no, like we're just going to keep it restrained. Everything's smaller and just it's in this house and that's it. And it works better that way. It feels like you're almost inside this guy's mind. And so from a budget standpoint, it was easier to make this film and we just kind of scrounged up what we can. Like we get favors, the camera with one of the co-producers, my friend Kevin, he pretty much gave us the camera for free. I mean, we paid him, but it was just really it was super nice of him to do that, and that's responsible. He's responsible for what it looks like. I mean, our DP did a great job, David Rivera, with his gaffer, but getting that camera. I mean, they shot weapons with that camera. So it's like it was a gift. It truly was.
Wow. So sounds amazing. So again, congratulations. I hope it goes really, really well in this festival. And nothing, yeah, nada. Aquí en Puerto Rico, we're here for you.
Oh, thank you
Just
so
let us
much.
know how we
Appreciate
can
it.
support you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I look forward to talking to you again.
Okay, me too.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
bye.